Alright guys, we are back. That clearly did not take that long, and what's so funny is that whenever you watch the last video, I ended up recording this one probably a minute or two after I stopped, because then Zod decided, hey, we're just going to go ahead and push down and play this out to see how it goes. This is exactly what they should have done in the first place. I'm happy to see that they just gathered, and now they're doing a ginormously big push. Let's look at some of the interactions, right? It looks like we're seeing some ranged play here from, I like this right here. This is really good from Daddy Chill. I like how we're getting some of the, again, we're just going to kind of go out and hit some of the outlier positions. Star-Lord not necessarily doing anything there. It looks like as someone MC from the MC Alliance is getting in on some fighting possibly. But for the most part, it's pretty straight up, right? We're seeing some Nikos being ran. We got some Lilios. We got some Waldiers being ran. Again, it looks like, right, BDL does there. I mean, the ZODs looks like they have a good numbers advantage. It's just a matter of, one, try not to clump. This is a big thing, right? You're clumping in a very tight area. Spread out. You should be spread out all the way along here and hitting them wide. BDL, you can tell, is a little bit more spread out based on their players compared to Zod. And this is another good example, right? You have numbers advantages, but you got to spread out a little bit more, right? Does, I'm sure, is just doing some massive damage with his Lilia. Probably running a Nico Guanwin too as well, I would imagine. We got the Walder Lilia. Hosk. I wonder if he's running Hosk Lilia or Hosk. Who is Hosk? That was Guanwin Craig? Oh, wow. So he's running Hosk Nico. Interesting. I might have opted actually to run Nico Hosk just so you get the 40% additional normal attack damage. And to me, that would have played better into Nico's kit, more so than running Hosk Primary, just because Hosk Primary, you're getting the increased defense. I think it's 25% from his third skill. So it is helping, don't get me wrong, right? Especially if you're looking for a little more frontline. But I do wonder how Nico Hosk would play out compared to the opposite that we're seeing right now. And then it looks like he's running Guanwin Craig, but, or at least from one of the other ones that we ended up seeing there. Again, just doing a lot of massive damage right now. And man, that was intense. Even though we caught a little bit on the tail end for this fight, oh gosh, I would have loved to see this play out a little bit more. Oh, I don't even know if Van was there too. So now in this situation, right, if you're Zod, you should be backing up and then look to re-engage, right? You have killed off a bunch of units here, right? Now what you should do is back up. Don't just keep sending the units in one by one, because they'll pick you off, right? Because they have a few more units here to kind of single target fire focus. Back up here to your barricades, regather, and then go ahead and re-engage. Right? That's what we should be seeing. Looks like maybe a little bit more of that now. But here's a primary example, right? Lama Sang taking some damage for no reason, kind of re-engaging. I would have left a little bit earlier, right? You got Zod Curry sending in 2 units here for no reason. Ooh, is that, looks like I think Frost Barrier was that for the immune. Shadow Games being thrown out. I don't know if I would have wasted that right there. That didn't really seem like that was going to do any damage, right? Wait till you get at least a group of people in, and then you could go ahead and do it that way, right? So again, back up here. Don't just be sending the units in one by one, right? And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing right now, right? BDO kind of picking them off one by one here, the stragglers, if you will. And that's something, obviously, I'd love, you know, for the next time, where we see just a little bit more coordination going on. And yeah, man, BDL still, even though that was a nice big engagement, you know, coming back and taking a look at it now in hindsight, again, they had the numbers, just had to play it out a little bit more efficiently. And now BDL on the counter push, going north. Let's see if they halt and stop, or if they're going to keep pushing into the barricades here. If that's the case, Zod should push back a little bit more towards the keep. So understanding having good positioning, I would back up more towards the keep and see if you're going to push them there, so that way the keep can do a little bit of damage. That would be nice to do instead of kind of fighting off a little bit off of the keep's range. And this is the thing, man. Zod still kind of re-engaging, right? Again, a little too early here, I should say. Re-engaging a little too early. Right? I mean, it's not like BDL has a lot. Maybe there's 10, 12 units here. But wait to get some more reinforcements if Zod. I mean, you got Ghazi here. We got Forsaken. You got more reinforcements that are coming up. Again, replay your staging area. Right? Look at the range for your keep. And basically stage here, side to side, where the keep is. Right? Force them to kind of come to you. And then hit the re-engage. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is nice that they're hitting a few units here. But don't overextend. That's the thing. All right, so what do we got? We got some Walders, we got some Lilios. Okay, nice. Little Guan wins. Bunch of Waldirs right there. Not seeing too much infantry. Right, remembering that archers are dealing the most amount of DPS in the game, right? But mages typically tend to be a little bit more favored just because of the very far range, right? Where they can start hitting some of the archers before. However, you know, and I hope it's kind of where it might go into, right? Where if you're kind of fighting straight up, where let's say you were running like a Nico Guanwin, or you're running like a Nico Hosk, and you were going straight up against a Lilia Waldir, right? My assumption, and again, I'm curious if anyone has tested that, because I haven't tested it myself, but my assumption based on the DPS between a mage and a archer is that the archer would win that fight, right? In just a straight up one-on-one. All right. Okay, look, so kind of doing a little bit of what we talked about, right? Kind of coming back a little bit around the keep range, and then just waiting, right? Regather yourself, and then you can re-engage. Yeah. But this is nice, man. I love seeing the back and forth. This is great. Even if we only get, you know, 5-10 minutes out of this, you know, I'm still happy that we were able to see a big fight that happened, even though it was kind of the midway through the big fight, just because I had gone off and then had to come back. And this is the thing. Like, look at this. Prime example. Right? In the one-on-one. Look at the counterattack damage. Right? He's doing a little bit more damage here to Van, but Van is still doing a decent amount of damage here to Strong Tiger. This is why I believe that there just shouldn't be counterattack damage. Right? And I will preach this to the end of my days as well, because I think it would just improve the game so much more than where it is currently. And I think the devs will reap from that, because that now becomes a extremely big selling point. That could arguably be one of your best selling points on how you're going to get more people to come and play COD versus other games, right, by taking that away. And right, here's an okay example, right? Ray kind of fighting the one-on-one, right? Single target. I would do the same thing. Day of Fire, work wide, go ahead and hit. That's another way to approach that. ZOD, again, they are still having players that are coming up, right? It's not like they don't have, it's not like they're not getting more replenishment, but they need to be fighting the smart battles. Right here, good example. This player has Time Bomb on him, even though he ended up dying. Oh, yeah, see, and that's something BDL shouldn't have done. It shouldn't have been fighting that or attacked that player. Let the AoE artifact go off so it could have damaged those other two units. Yeah, so now BDL kind of backing up. Again, right, still good attendance. Let's take a look and see how the southern fight is going. I'm imagining they're probably, yeah. I mean, this to me seems a little bit more standard, right? So now, because they're relieving pressure off the north, they're now able to push in a little bit more. And all these players, 8 players or so that are building that keep, that's juicy, right, to them. They're just like, man, we're just going to go in and get some free kills on those units. And look at that. Now they're replenishing even more, which goes back to what we were talking about in the previous video that we covered. Right, the same instance, but just kind of two different situations that played out on ZOD's advantage that they did have, and BXS's kind of slight, kind of more disrupting advantage or situation they were in that they could have done something with, I believe. Right, there just had to be a little bit more coordination. Yeah. So now kind of at a standstill, not sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll get another engagement here shortly. Let's see here. Okay. Nice. So getting a little free kill there. Right, and this is okay, man. Let the players, and I like how Zod's spreading out a little bit more now, just because now there's not any pressure. And this is something we talk about with the whole keep situation, right? I understand why people would put some units in keeps, but let's say you're someone who's in this keep and you're online. Take the unit out, right? When we talk about kind of micro play on, you know, on the fly or real-time adjustments, that's where if you have legions that can be fighting, you take the legions out of the keep, you engage in the fight, and then when you get pushed back, you go in the keep, right? We should be able to do those things. Now, I'm sure not every single person in this keep is online currently, but that's just a nice general rule of thumb. If you're not getting pressured around the keep and you're online and you have a legion in a keep, take the unit out so you can actually join the fight. And then, like we said, if you get pushed, then you can go ahead and put them back in the keep. I'm surprised that they don't have a keep around here, I would imagine, unless I'm just super blind. Right? But look at this, right? They're just repairing their barricades. Same thing. You know, if you look at that. Now, they did push down. I want to point this out. Zod did push down. I actually would fight on this side. Why would I fight on this side? Because fighting on this side is closer replenishment to where your road is. If you were to fight on this side, it's farther away, right? And you have to go, and you basically have to go around, or, you know, if you want to make the argument, you have to go around over here, right? So fighting on the west side might be more, on the west side over here, it might be easier to just play out versus fighting on the farther east side. Yeah. But man, Zod's looking good. They have some more. They got some more players that are joining. I mean, they could re-engage at any point. I like this. Good play here from this player. Had the time bomb on them. Didn't end up going back in. You saw them move away. Smart move there. Kudos to this guy, right, from Zod, because that was a heads-up play on how you should be playing time bomb out. If you get time bomb thrown on you, you should never go back into a group, even if you have to go forward, right, to be more in your enemy's range. I would rather do that than taking the unnecessary AoE damage. Right, and on the opposite side, some of you might just be of the belief that, you know what, I don't, the damage from time bomb isn't that big, so I'd rather take the damage and, be able to kind of fight another day to then eventually do more damage than the time bomb did, even with the AoE spread. Frost barrier getting activated there for the immune. And see, this is good to do, but it's only good to do if you have a supporting cast that's damaging the person that's attacking you. So in that situation, that frost barrier was wasted. It would have been better for him to take a few hits, let his team, let his other friendly legions get there, and then pop it. Right, so again, thinking about how we should be using artifact skills and the timings that go along with them are just as equally important. Right, and that's why I say this game has so much strategic depth that we have really only started scratching the surface, right, in the beta thus far. All right. So I think we're probably going to stop it around here. I don't know if we're going to get another re-engagement thus far. I know we already got one that I thought is good. Ooh, nice. We got to follow me. Does that mean we're going to see an engagement here? I mean, Van the Great. I mean, you still got a bunch of players that are coming in, man. I would literally wait for these guys to get there and then go. Right, and now Zod kind of getting into a similar situation, man. Like they're poking, but you have these players that are overextending, and they're just going to end up taking unnecessary damage here from Sinreal and from Amanga, whoever else is coming up here as well. You're just losing overall troop HP just for no reason. And this is why, man, you got to push together. Or, okay, nice. So now we're going to get a little bit more of an engagement. Maybe we're going to end up going in now. Nice. Okay, so here we go. A little bit more reaction. Again, I would have loved for this to happen a little earlier from Zod, so they just didn't take some of that free damage that was going down. I like how we're seeing a little bit more focus here. Looks like everyone's going for Sinreal. Then we're going to end up going for the next one. I like the single target focus. Now going on Huzza. This is nice. Now going on the next Northern Sinreal player. Hopefully, if that's the case there for Sinreal's Nico Legion, that they're going to single target fire focus. I like Meijing now going in. Notice he's tanking damage, but we need to be having more output, right? I don't know why we're backing up. This was actually a good positioning right there. And then for whatever reason, the DPS just ended up disengaging. I don't know why that ended up happening. And look at that. 4 units total getting hit. I would have loved for Meijing to go back. That actually would have been the perfect situation for him to hit Frost Barrier in and then have the other supporting cast outputting damage. That to me would have been a lot better for them to do. Look like Zod Ally has a time bomb on him. Probably going to end up hitting 2 or 3 more players here once that goes off. Just his units themselves. And yeah, I mean, this isn't bad. This Zod, dude, look, this is the Bakshi Embers possibly. There, Evil Penguin coming in. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, man. Tanks are super useful, but you have to be in a position to where you're going to support them when they go in. Right? That's the biggest thing. Cav, to me, really should be running more like Disruptor or high damage artifacts, where they can kind of pop those off and then, utilize them in kind of quick escape situations, or being there to kind of poke people off as kind of like your Blitzkrieg or like your Shadow units. Infantry really is more about CC and just tanking, right? Same thing, kind of running CC-based artifacts, tanking as much as they can, and really doing well-timed skill activation so they can last as long as possible, so that way the back end or the back DPS. And look, you have a bunch of players here that aren't even moving from ZODs. Again, ZOD creating a somewhat advantage for themselves, but they're just not having enough of a supporting cast to come and assist. Right, and now BDL is probably going to get a counterattack situation here as you start seeing the kind of theater shift from more of an offensive stance to now going into more of a defensive stance. At least on the northern side. Right, and now kind of backing up. I mean, look, you had half of your players not even engaging in that situation. Right, and this to me kind of lends itself to, you know, me asking the important question, which is everyone in voice? Right, or did you give everyone instructions before they started fighting? You know, does everyone know what emojis are being used that are going to indicate what to do? Do you have an on-field captain? Do you have an on-field general who's making these calls? All of those questions are extremely important because, like I said, man, ZOD could totally win this. I mean, it looks like they have the numbers here, or at least let me say this, at least at minimum, put up a better fight than what we're seeing thus far. So, yeah, man, we are gonna have to see. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy I was able to get another recording out of this. I'm gonna have to start just like double upping on my uploads, or not my uploads, but my uploads, right? Or the videos I go public with. So because we're getting a lot of PvP action right now from S5 and S6, we got S7 coming up. So I might just start doing like 2 videos a day, just like my regular video that I'm gonna do, and then we'll just have like a secondary PvP video, because with the amount of PvP I've been recording, this is bananas, and this is really awesome to see. Okay, that is going to be it for me, man. I'm going to go ahead and call this one. We're almost at 17 minutes in. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as well, kind of the continuation fight from the same day, but just being able to see some more engagement coming from both ZOD and BDL here in S5. This has been awesome. Again, if we get some more action going on later today, I'm going to try and cover as much as I can, and then obviously throughout the Zone 3 fights, along with Kingdom 6 that we've been doing, right? If there's anything else you guys want me to see, let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear your thoughts on what we've been seeing, what we've been witnessing, right? The kind of tactic and the strategical play, the potential that we could be seeing going forward. Let me know anything and everything in the comments down below. That is it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.